If you're trying to get lean, guys, you do not need to cut out your carbohydrates, eat 6 tiny meals a day, or spend an hour on the Stairmaster every single morning. Getting lean is actually pretty simple. You need to create a caloric deficit while doing everything in your power to maintain your strength, your muscle mass, your performance, and your recovery. And right now, guys, I am in a mini cut, so I am getting leaner. And in this video, I'm going to show you 10 different things that I am doing to make sure my cut goes smoothly and that I can get lean and shredded. I'm going to be breaking down every single one, and the last one might be the most important, so stay tuned to the end of the video to see. So the first point we're going to go over, guys, is the foundation, as we just mentioned, caloric deficit. And this is the first one, guys, because you cannot avoid this one. If you do not follow this, you're not going to get lean no matter what else you do. For your body fat to come down over time, you need to be eating less calories than your body's burning. Or another way of saying it is expending more energy than you consume. Now, this does not mean eating as little as possible, guys. And in fact, a lot of people screw up their cut because they try to eat as little as possible and starve themselves. That is simply not the way to do it. If you put yourself in too much of a caloric deficit, yes, you're going to lose weight quickly, but your training is going to get worse. Your hunger is going to go through the roof. Your step count is naturally going to decrease. And eventually you're going to plateau or just binge. My goal is to use the smallest deficit necessary to continue to make progress and strides in getting leaner. And of course, the deficit will have to expand as weeks go on in my cut, but you want to take it as slow as possible to maintain and retain as much energy, as much strength, and as much muscle as you can. Ideally, I want my body weight to trend downward, but I want to maintain the strength and muscle that I have and my performance within the gym. For someone like me who is already fairly lean and wants to get a little leaner, a slower rate of weight loss is generally safer and makes more sense for someone like me to maintain all that muscle. Now, the second thing I'm doing to make sure that my cut goes as smoothly as possible, guys, is making sure my protein is staying high, right? Because protein is what is going to allow us to hold on to that muscle, to retain that muscle. Protein is one of the things I'm not aggressively reducing when my calories lower, because guys, when you are dieting, maintaining your muscle becomes extremely important because you're giving your body less overall energy. Resistance training and weightlifting gives your body the stimulus to make and retain and build muscle. Resistance training gives your body the stimulus it needs to retain that muscle, but protein is what is building that muscle up. So throughout this mini cut, guys, I want to make sure my protein is staying high and that I'm not losing too many grams of protein when I'm dropping calories. And that doesn't mean, guys, I'm eating 350 grams of protein per day. No. I'm currently weighing 213 pounds. I want to drop to around 205 or 208 pounds. So all I'm doing is keeping my protein around 210 to 215 grams per day. I always like to follow the rule of thumb of going, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight that you are. But you guys can do your own research and figure out what is best for you based on your lifestyle, your workout habits, and your deficit. Protein is also usually very satiating, so it makes dieting that much easier when you're able to keep your protein high, because you're going to feel full more frequently. Now, the third point is one of the biggest things I want you guys to understand. When I am cutting right now, I am not scared of carbs. I am not taking my carbs away to lower my calories, guys. No. Carbohydrates are not what makes you fat. Eating too many calories is what makes you fat. I actually want to maintain my carbohydrates as much as I can because that is what is going to give me energy in the gym. Carbohydrates help replenish muscle glycogen. Glycogen, the stored form of carbohydrates in your muscles and in your liver. Glycogen is the primary resource your body uses for quick, fast, intense training sessions. So if I'm completely lowering my carbohydrate intake, guys, that's going to make training that much harder. Instead, what I'm doing is prioritizing carbohydrates around my workouts. So I am utilizing the daily allowance of my carbohydrates specifically and mainly around my pre-workout, my intra-workout, and my post-workout meals. So before training, I want carbohydrates that digest well and usually quickly, and that will help me perform well in the gym. So this could be things like rice, bagels, rice cakes, Rice Krispie treats, cereal, oats, fruit, bread. Whatever sits well for you is going to be what you want to consume, but those are some of the options I use. And during my training, guys, I like to also have just carb powder or dextrose, because this is also going to replenish those glycogen storages as my workout goes on and gives me that extra energy I need when I'm already in a caloric deficit. And then after training, I'll have another high carbohydrate meal. obviously with some protein as well. But strategically placing your carbohydrates around your training sessions can improve your performance and make dieting seem a little easier. So right now I'm eating around 600 grams of carbohydrates a day, and I'm trying to prioritize them around my training sessions. My non-training days, the number's around 300 to 400 because we don't need that many carbohydrates for our non-training days, especially if we are dieting and trying to lose weight. Now, the fourth point we're gonna go over, guys, is that my fat intake is coming down, but it's not at zero. Guys, dietary fat is super important. It plays a role in hormone production and regulation, micronutrient absorption like vitamins, and just overall general health. But fat is also extremely calorie dense. Protein contains around 4 calories per gram, carbohydrates contain around 4 calories per gram, but fat contains 9 calories per gram. So if I'm gonna remove calories from my diet, guys, the first place I'm going to look is my fats. Because for example, guys, 1 tablespoon of olive oil can be 120 calories, a couple tablespoons of peanut butter can be 200 to 300 calories, a handful of nuts can become 500 calories. I'm not saying these foods aren't healthy, guys, but they're extremely easy to overeat in. So when I'm trying to get leaner, guys, I'm gonna look for my fats first. I'm gonna cut out things like olive oils, a lot of butter, sauces, high-fat meats, things like cheese as well. I still want to eat enough dietary fat, so I'm still eating my eggs in the morning. I'm still having fats throughout the day, but I just don't need unnecessary calories from fats from foods that I'm usually eating. I can minimize that very easily by just reducing some fat, and my calories are going to drop a lot. Now, the fifth point we're going to go over, guys, is your meal timing. And don't get me wrong, meal timing definitely matters, but it matters significantly less compared to your total daily macros and calories. If you're consuming 2,500 calories every single day and you're trying to lose fat, consuming those calories in 3 meals compared to 5 is probably not really going to do a big difference. So I like to use mealtime, guys, for 3 specific reasons: performance, hunger, and adherence. I personally like to keep my meals relatively structured. That way I'm not randomly grazing throughout the entire day. Now I have a breakfast meal, a pre-workout meal, a post-workout meal, and a dinner meal. And then that way it becomes much easier to control my total caloric intake. And I also want my protein to be consistently distributed across every single meal, rather than having one big meal of protein and then smaller meals without much protein. The next point we're gonna go over, guys, is that your food selection matters, especially as you get leaner. If your calories are high, you can easily get away with eating more caloric dense foods. But as your calories decrease, your food selection becomes increasingly more important. If I only have a certain amount of calories I have to eat every single day, food volume becomes really important. Things like rice, potatoes, meats, egg whites, Greek yogurt, fruits, and vegetables. Imagine eating 600 calories worth of rice and then eating 600 calories worth of peanut butter. Rice is going to take you much longer to eat, and it's going to fill you up much greater compared to that peanut butter you can probably eat in a matter of minutes. Dieting becomes a lot easier, guys, when you eat foods that actually fill up your stomach. Steps are huge when it comes to trying to get lean, and it's simply one of the most underrated tools for fat loss. When your calories decrease, guys, your body subconsciously reduces movement throughout the entire day. You sit more, you fidget less, right? You're trying to preserve energy because your body knows it's not getting the energy it used to from all the other food you used to eat. So your overall non-exercise activity can decrease, or we call it NEAT, right? Non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So what I like to do, guys, is every single day I try to get around 12,000 steps. Right now, that number can differ depending on how many you usually get, but I was averaging around 10K a day on my bulk, on my growth phase. So right now, we're aiming for around 12,000 steps per day, and that could get slightly higher as we want to get leaner. It's also great, guys, because we are burning calories while we're doing this, and we also are able to maintain and regulate our insulin, and it allows me to actually eat more or be in less of a deficit than I would be if I wasn't walking as much as I am. And that's why I'm saying walking is great, guys, because it's an extra additional form of energy expenditure rather than wearing and tearing yourself down by doing running or jogging or any other form of, high intense cardio. But I do walk on the treadmill at the gym a few times every single day, specifically around my bigger meals. And then after every single workout session, I like to finish around 30 minutes of just incline walking. Now that brings me to my next point, guys. Cardio is a tool, not a punishment. I don't do cardio because I ate something bad. I don't use cardio to punish myself. Like I said about the step count, I use cardio because it helps me increase my total daily energy expenditure throughout the day without continuously having to lower or remove foods. Now, I don't do anything crazy with my cardio, guys, and usually in the beginning of a cut, like for me, steps are enough, but you should have some form of designated cardio at least 2 to 3 times per week. At least that's what I'm doing. When I'm dieting and fat loss becomes slower, instead of reducing calories 500 more, I can just up my cardio a little bit. That way I don't have to starve myself that much. My phone ran out of storage, guys. I just finished the video and I look back and I realized that points 9, 10, and 11 all got taken out in the outro. So we're back, but number 9 is I don't change every variable at once, guys. I change one at a time. And this is extremely important, guys, because if fat loss stalls for me, I'm not automatically going to increase steps to 5,000 a day. I'm not going to automatically lower calories another 500. I'm not going to automatically do 45 more minutes on the stair stepper every single day. Your body weight fluctuates, and that is perfectly normal, right? I tell all my clients this, and it's the exact same thing I do for myself, for my training, for my progression in weight loss. We care about the weekly summaries, guys, of your weight averages rather than just day to day, because things like carbohydrate intake, sleep, whether you went to the bathroom, stress, sodium, water intake, all these things play a role in what our weight looks like that very morning. So it's very important that you look at the average weight every single week, the bigger picture, and that will tell you if you need to increase cardio, drop calories, but we don't care about the day-to-day changes, right? And you do not want to change variables all at once. You want to start with one variable at a time. So then if my weekly average legitimately is stalling and being stagnant, then I'll look into decreasing calories another 100 to 200, maybe increasing steps another 1,000 or 2,000. But small adjustments like these allow you to keep progressing without running out of the tools you need. Now, the next point we're going to go over, guys, is training does not become a calorie burning workout. You need to lift to keep your muscle. And this is what a lot of people make the mistake of, is that they start cutting and their entire philosophy of training changes. Supersets, drop sets, interval workouts, HIIT workouts, 30-second rest periods, because they're trying to burn more calories. Your lifts should be there primarily to help you preserve and maintain and build strength. I still want to train hard. I still want to progressively overload when possible, because I want enough intensity within my workouts, guys, to make my body preserve and maintain that muscle. Your diet and activity will create the caloric deficit, but it's up to you for your training sessions to maintain that muscle. The next point we're going to go over, guys, is sleep and recovery. Sleep becomes even more important when your calories are reduced. Sleep can increase your hunger, it can decrease performance, it can decrease your recovery, and it can make sticking to your diet significantly harder. You could have the perfect meal plan and the perfect cardio program, but if you're sleeping 5 hours every single night, it's going to make it that much harder for you to actually sustain and stick to that program. I like to aim for around 7 to 9 hours per night. I try to get around 8 to 9 hours, but with my workload and what I do throughout the day, I'm more on the 7.5 to 8 hours per night. But you guys should be aiming for at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep every single night, especially when you are cutting. Getting lean does not require you to suffer as much as humanly possible. The best fat loss plans, guys, aren't the ones that create the biggest deficit, but it's the ones that create enough of a deficit that you can sustain consistently over time. So stop thinking, how little can I eat? And start thinking, what is the most amount of food I can eat while still making progress? Because if I can get lean, eating more carbohydrates, doing less cardio, and actually progressing in the gym, I'm gonna take that every single day of the week. Only when progress slows down do I make another adjustment. That's how I approach getting lean. If you guys are struggling to get lean, don't know how to take the necessary steps to get lean, and just are lost, that's why I'm here, guys. I'm an online coach. I have coached for 3 years now, and I will help you reach your goals. Stop wasting time and take action, and go visit my website, zachluchh.com, to see how I can best help you reach your goals. I also do have a fat loss program on my website right now, so go ahead and check that out. It's a 12-page PDF going over everything you need to know about nutrition, training, sleep, recovery when you're dieting. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. We are trying to get to 15,000 subscribers, guys, so every single one of you makes a difference, and it means the world to me for you guys to subscribe and watch my videos. If you have any questions about this video, go ahead and drop them in the comments down below. Or if you have any future ideas for videos, go ahead and also drop them down below, and I'll be sure to respond to you and maybe make a video on them too. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like always, God bless you all, and I'll see you in the next one.